Hey, what's up, fam? This chapter 25 of Eden Zero, was very much about marksmanship. I thought about like what the biggest takeaway from this chapter. Honestly, I thought a lot about marksmanship, which I don't know. I was expecting that. I was hoping for more of like a big battle, but I'm fine with this because it set up the characters differently than expected. So that was an enjoyable aspect of it. The thing though that I want that I I don't require, but I'm hoping for with this one because I like Jin is I want to see that Shiki getting pushed to fight. I mean, I can't really complain that much since we didn't really see the type of fight I'm talking about and referring to in Rave Master until Haru fought Shuda or Natsu fought Gaju, where it was just kind of that there it, where Haru was fighting somebody just straight above him. It wasn't like, oh, this guy I can beat him, but he's got a weird power and you think about it. Or Natsu who just fought like a direct equal, somebody who was the exact same style as him, just with the way that Dragon Sling magic worked. The only difference, obviously, being their elemental attributes. But I want to see that point where Shiki's getting pushed, and it's more of he needs to overcome his opponent as a whole rather than him think up a new strategy and how to fight like he's doing right now. I don't know. I think you know what I mean. I'm sure we'll get it eventually. I mean, I don't think that happened in Rave Master till like chapter 40 or 50. Same thing with Fairy Tail. That was in like the late 50s, early 60s. So, I mean, it's not like it's required in the story right now. As long as we get to it at some point soon. But regarding this chapter, I enjoyed the style that it was presented as. With it felt like a really cool shootout where Shiki's like, all right, this guy's ranged. I need to think of some more range stuff. And like I've been saying, his power is more of utility and mobility, whereas Natsu was more like relentless attack, and Haru's was more like combinational of different abilities in the approach. Shiki's is much more how exactly can I move around and you know alter my abilities slightly to be in the situation. Obviously, now he's fighting a guy with a large machine gun as well as Jin and sister, so he can't just go around and be like, "Well, I'll just rush in and take them all out." I mean, it's different for him. He doesn't have the the safeguard ability that Haru had with the rune safe or Natsu just having extremely high durability. Shiki's got to be a little bit more careful with it, and here he's figuring out by using these cool, like little gravity condensed balls on the end of his knuckles, which I think that's pretty cool. And it's going to be a useful and pretty interesting ability in the future. I want to see how it goes. Actually, the part where it hits Ganoff and you see that cool effect with the little gravity swirling around it is, I think it's pretty cool, and I like that they all condensed back into one big ball when it happened. But I feel bad for Gandalf. It's one of those times where a character you're not really interested in, but he's like, I mean, he's all right, but I wish he fought. I wish he fought Rebecca instead, and it was just like them 1v1ing in a marksmanship match. I mean, this is a fine one though. I mean, I don't really care, like I said, much for him as a character. I think he was interesting, just as like a quick opponent. Jin though, I really would like it if and he did not just go down. I would like it if he and Shiki got in like a real put up the ante brawl, and maybe not a brawl fight like we saw in uh, over on Blue Garden, and they're just like using their mobility in combination with their ranged attacks, and then trying to get in with their more close combat attacks. But obviously, when two characters who have close combat and mid range, they're going to be worried about getting in, like getting past their enemy's range. And that was cool with that fight. Is just the way that they both were kind of like trying to figure out how to get past the other's abilities. Meanwhile, I thought it was. I actually really liked that the way that Sister was fighting with the as a villain. She's both using her allies as shields, but also healing them right afterwards. So it's just kind of like I'm an asshole, but you're one of my soldiers, so I got you. but you know, don't expect to be dodging attacks and me to get hit because it's gonna be you. I'll just fix you up afterwards and be okay. Obviously, that did not bode well with Shiki. Shiki just has that blind animalistic rage that he develops. Like it just kind of like snaps on, and you can definitely tell his is much more, like I said, almost robotic. Just the way that switch on to just rage. It doesn't look like Haru's where it was much more like calm, collected rage, or Natsu's that was just kind of just um like a eruption about to happen, but a focused and in control burst. Whereas Shiki's is just more like, all right, activate kill mode. Meanwhile, we go back to Rebecca, who finds out where Copa is. And honestly, one of the things that caught my eye, I think, the most out of this whole scene is when you see the table with the chicks that are turned to stone. You have like a blanket draped over it, and you have like all these drinks on it. I feel like it wouldn't stay flat. Like I feel like it would get pushed into the crevices between these girls unless there's like a board on top of it as well. I don't know. That's just something that caught my eye. But she goes and finds all the chicks that are turned to stone. Runs into Aliga, who has that girl Copa, and like getting ready to shoot her and making Rebecca kneel to him. This dude, I would have, like I said, I would have had Ganoff fight her. I think the marksmanship fight would have been better since Aliga he's just a big dope. He's just a big dopey guy. Don't know why I don't know why some of these people put up with him. Like I feel like he's be really annoying to be around. Not even that he's like, a bad guy. Obviously, on a planet of villains and criminals, you're gonna not be like, man, that guy's a terrible person. We sure him. I just feel like he's annoying. Like he's probably annoying to look at. He's probably annoying to talk to. I mean, I guess it's really just his cash. But if you're a criminal, you just kill him and take it. I don't know. Rebecca swipes his gun. What I'm really, really hoping out of this whole segment is we see her keep the gun and maybe assimilate it into Happy Bot, and maybe he changes slightly, and maybe becomes like a different animal, or his design alters slightly, like his full structure. Like maybe he becomes a different type of cat, like a calico or Siamese or something. I think that'd be pretty funny. It's like every single time Happy Bot absorbs a gun, just like he slightly alters into a different breed of cat. I think that'd be interesting. I'm really hoping that's the thing, but I would most of all like to see this gun be irrelevant somehow. I think it's got a nice little interesting tiny little handgun, and you got a really nice bit of, at the same time, Rebecca explaining like pretty much marksmanship to Shiki, and like anticipating your opponent's movements when you're a ranged character. And then you see them both like fire off their ranged attacks, which is pretty cool for them. At the same time, take them out, and then sister's like, well, I'll just heal them and they'll be fine. Whereas the actual sister comes back, Sister Evelyn, and I'm wondering if this sister is a fake or if they are potentially two halves of it. Like, because obviously there were machines at some point, or at least cyborgs. Maybe they split into two entities and then reconstructed the missing parts, and then that created these two versions of Sister. I don't know. We'll figure this out soon in the next chapter, which should be within the next couple days. Chapter should resume next week, which I'm looking forward to. But I rambled on for like 9 minutes already. So this chapter, like I said, I enjoyed it. It was I got some expectations coming up soon. I hope that they're at least partially met. This chapter was cool. It wasn't great. It wasn't like a super hype one. It was more of a, okay, we're still figuring some stuff out. Obviously, it is still early in the series. It's only at chapter 25, but I think I'm just being a little bit impatient on some of the things that some normal standard shonen stuff that I would like to see. But that's just probably me being, like I said, impatient. Anyway, comment below on what you thought about the chapter. Is there anything that you would like to see coming up? Anything that you're expecting? And I really hope Jin doesn't become irrelevant. That'll make me actually sad. That'll be my first complaint of the series, is if Jin doesn't at least become a half relevant character, and we see him every once in a while. If he just fades into the forgotten cast, I'll be really saddened. Anyway, yeah, like I said, like and subscribe though if you like this kind of content. You enjoy Eden Zero and manga, like it. Check out my other videos, and those who are already subscribed, thank you very much. Everyone, thank you very much for listening.